Oh, it's really high up. Goodness gracious. And it's really blown out as well. Let me just try and fix this. Because, you know, sometimes fixing things is kind of important. Hey everyone. It's Nikki here from Transport Evolved. We're doing like this tiny little hangout. I am now in LA. You can see LA, well no, you can't see LA behind me. There we go. LA behind me, and we are going to be doing a little bit of a live stream just to see if you have any questions that you want to ask me, to ask Porsche about the Taycan. We are going to be driving the Taycan tomorrow. It's going to be really exciting. We're going to have a lovely time. Let me see if I can sort these lights out so that you're not looking at me in complete and utter darkness. This is live streaming on a budget, live on this channel. So we are going to be driving the Porsche Taycan tomorrow, and I would love to know if you have anything that you would like me to ask, anything that you'd like me to figure out, and any burning questions that you have for the Porsche team that I can ask on your behalf. Now, this being take two, it's a little janky, obviously, but we are, now you can see, now we figured it out. So I'm here in Los Angeles. The air quality is not as bad as I thought it was going to be because of the fires. The fires seem to have dropped a little bit, so we're doing really well. I literally just landed. We had some issues with our plane, or rather our plane was delayed getting into Portland, so I am now delayed doing this. But if you have any questions that you would like me to ask to Porsche, now is the time to do it. So tomorrow I'm going to be driving the Porsche Taycan Turbo and also the Taycan Turbo S, which is going to be a great experience, I have no doubt. I'm a little bit nervous about the whole experience because I am a fan of one pedal driving, and Porsche doesn't do one pedal driving. It uses the accelerator as the accelerator and the brake as the brake, and I've got so used to driving cars that are capable of single pedal driving that I honestly think I'm going to have a little bit of trouble making that transition from a regular, regular one pedal driving car to driving the Taycan. Listen to me talking about one pedal driving. So let's see how that works out. We're also going to be test driving it on a variety of different roads. Porsche has set us up with a variety of different roads that we're going to be driving along, and we're also going to be filming a review, which I will obviously be putting up on the channel as soon as I possibly can. We are going to be back in LA, so I'm here in LA until Thursday morning, and then I'm going to get on a really early flight and head back to Portland so that we can record the normal TEN, Transport Evolved News Roundup, on Friday, which is the show that we publish on a Saturday. And Friday afternoon I am flying back to LA, and I feel terribly guilty about it. I'm going to be buying some more team trees to, you know, at least try and help that. And then we'll be flying back from LA. We're flying to LA with Ford. Then the rest of the team is flying into LA. We'll be in LA for 5 days, and then we're flying back to Portland. And at that point, I will be done with my driving for the year. My flying, fingers crossed, I'll be done with flying for the year. And then I'll also hopefully be done with flying until the middle of the year, because we're going to be driving to CES in Las Vegas. And if you want to help us buy a trailer so that we can put our gear in the back, let me know. We've got a lot of camera gear that we have to take with us to events, so let me know if that is something you're interested in helping us do. You can make a donation through Ko-fi or Patreon, all of those good things. I'm really surprised at how well this shot's turned out, actually. I'm actually bouncing the light off of the white wall. It's given me a nice wash. I'm glad I did that. That was not my original plan. We're also going to be driving to Fully Charged Live in Austin, Texas at the end of January, beginning of February, weather permitting, circumstances permitting. So if you have any questions about that, get in touch. But tomorrow it's all about the Porsche. It's all about the Porsche Taycan. It's all about seeing how the boost mode operates. I'm very keen to see how it handles compared to other Porsches on the market. Of course, I will be seeing how it handles compared to a Tesla Model S. I know I've said time and time again you can't compare this to a Tesla Model S, but I'm sure some comparisons will be made tomorrow. We will see what happens there. You could fly in an electrifier. What is it? An electric flyer? Well, yeah, we could fly in an electric plane. We don't have an electric plane though, and I don't know anybody who has an electric plane. I would love to get a private pilot's license. That would be really super fun, but I think that's beyond I think that's beyond our budget, and I don't know if it's beyond the budget of some of the car companies who invite us to events like this, but we'll see. So are there any other questions that you have for the Porsche Taycan drive tomorrow? Oh, we've got some great ones. Andrew, what's the efficiency of the regenerative braking of the Porsche Taycan? What type of, HVAC systems? Let's go back to the chat, because he disappeared here. What type of HVAC system is it? Heat pump or resistive heater plus AC? How much buffer is at the top and the bottom of the battery? Those are really good questions. I'm hoping that there's going to be an engineer there tomorrow who can answer them. I will make sure that I write those down and ask tomorrow. So you want to know about the HVAC, you want to know about the top and the bottom of the pack, and you also want to know about the regenerative braking. I will try and put that in my noggin, and if not, I may watch this again. This live stream, and then I'll go back over it and we'll see if we have any other questions to ask tomorrow. Any other questions before I say adieu and head off to my evening of entertainment with Porsche? I'm very keen to see how the rear seats feel. Obviously this is being sold as a 4-seater, but I want to know if it's a true 4-seater or if it's actually a 2+2. I have some suspicions that it might be a 2+2, but I haven't really been in it. You want to know about the charging curve, says Bill. That's a really good question. The charging curve for the Taycan is going to be a really interesting one, because obviously they're going to be dumping that high current into there and into the battery pack. And over the weekend, if you didn't watch, there was some kerfuffle on Twitter about Electrify America charging stations charging $1.50 per kilowatt hour, which wasn't actually the case. When you have a high power car like the Taycan and you're charging at 200 plus kilowatts, you're going to be charging at a rate that Electrify America bills you at 99 cents per minute of charging. But obviously if you're charging at 200 plus kilowatts, then in a couple of minutes you're going to get a significant amount of power into your car's battery pack. So it swings and roundabouts. But tomorrow we will get to experience the Taycan charging for the first time at a high power charging station, at least for the first time for me. There was an event earlier this year that went to Niagara Falls, so people had a chance to drive the car there, but this is the official kind of press drive ahead of the LA Auto Show. So it's going to be interesting to see how this car compares to other Porsches, and also how it compares to other cars on the market, such as the e-tron, which sadly I haven't driven yet, but I've spent some time in, and also obviously the Tesla Model S, the Model X, and the Model 3. And I will of course be seeing how the car compares to those. But I think it's really important to remember that Porsche is not a brand that is necessarily going after Tesla. It's aiming at I think it's aiming at its own customers in terms of what it's designing and what it's building. In terms of price point, you're not going to be somebody who has scrimped and saved to get this car. You're going to be someone for whom, you know, the $180,000 price tag for the Taycan Turbo S is not going to be too much of a problem. This is a prestige brand. It is a prestige car. And I was thinking about this the other day. How many people do I know personally who own Porsches? And I think I probably know about 3 people who own Porsches. And kind of, if you think about how many people I know who drive other brands, you know, BMWs, Audis, Mercedes, I know many more people who drive those than drive Porsches. So we are looking at a really, really high price point. We're looking at a very, very small market for this car, but it's all about the experience, it's all about the prestige, and it's all about giving Porsches, I think, personally, I think it's about, maybe I'll be wrong, but before I've spoken to any of Porsche's staff, I have a feeling that this is a car that is designed primarily at existing Porsche customers. It's not necessarily a conquest car for the brand. Porsche knows who its customers are, and it's built an electric car for those customers. It's built a car, I think I'll find this out tomorrow, that has been designed from the ground up to be a driver's car. It's not designed to be an electric car necessarily, but rather a car that happens to have an electric drivetrain. And so the driving expectation and the way it's being set up is as a car that has an electric drivetrain rather than just an electric car. that also happens to be a Porsche. And I think that's a really important distinction, because electric cars to date have driven in a very particular way. They felt very particular, and there is a bit of a learning curve, and obviously Porsche doesn't want that for its high-end premium customers. I wanted to say that was a Ferrari, but I don't know my muscle cars and sports cars as well as perhaps I ought. So if you heard that go down the road, let me know what you thought that was, because I think it was probably a Ferrari. I'm using the Lavalier mic, I'm using the Lav mic tonight, so let me know what you think there. There is a person in San Antonio, about 50 miles from Austin, Texas, who converts gas cars to electric in case you wanted to or talk to someone while you're in Austin. I would love to do that. Send me the details, show@transportevolved.com. Help me hook up with them so that I can go film them. That would be great and fantastic. I really would love that to happen. The light is starting to fall a little bit here, but let me know if you have any other questions about the Taycan launch tomorrow. Just reach out and get in touch. I would love to hear what your questions are, and I will do my utmost to answer them. I think someone just tried to send me something on Twitter as well, so I will look at my watch presently and see if anybody else has any other questions. My question is, will the Taycan 4S be released soon after the turbo and regular version? Well, what we know so far is that the Taycan 4S will be released next year. I think probably towards the end of the year. I think they're going to give the turbo and the Turbo S, a year's head start. But it's quite common for Porsche to slowly roll out lower performance versions of its existing cars. You only have to look at what it's done with the Panamera and some of its other models to see that that's the normal rollout for those particular cars and that brand as a whole. And I think that's fine. I think it's kind of the trickle down economies of scale will come into force there. Obviously the 4S will be made on the same production line as the rest of the lineup. It'll just have a slightly less powerful setup and a smaller capacity battery, which will help Porsche, I think, make sure that it meets its goals for zero emission vehicles and low carbon credits and all of that. So I think it's a smart move on Porsche's part, and I think we'll probably see it this time next year, or maybe early 2021, but we'll see. We'll see. Any more questions before I say goodnight? You're all being fantastic. It's great to see you all here interacting and talking. We want to do more of these, and if the phone is wobbling a little bit, it is because I am currently holding my phone using a penknife or a utility knife on the back of one of our stands, because we have a special grip for my cell phone, which I either left in Germany or I've left in Portland. Erin was responsible for transferring stuff out of one bag into another yesterday, so we're going to blame Erin. I love you, Erin, but we're blaming you for this one. I'm sure it's somewhere in the camera bag, but we flew to LA today with our flight cases just because it was just easier for me. Not have too much to worry about. Have a great night and enjoy the smog of LA. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's not too bad tonight, but hey, let's talk about one final thing tonight. And if you want to tweet this out so everybody comes and talks to us before I say goodbye, that would be great. We are going to talk very briefly about the German Gigafactory. I think it's fantastic news. I did pick up that the Gigafactory, it's going to be Gigafactory 4, is going to be built in Germany. I think that is a shot across the bow of the German car industry. I think well done, Elon. That's a little bit cheeky. It's going to be interesting to see how the unions in Germany respond to it, because Germany does have a very big union workforce, and I'm not sure what the union laws are in Germany. I'm no expert, but I think that any workforce in Tesla will have to be unionized. I might be wrong there. Let me know in the comments below if I'm wrong or if I'm right. Tell me, confirm, or swipe me down and tell me I'm wrong. But it's great news that Tesla's building this new factory. It's really going to help Tesla obviously increase the number of vehicles that it churns out. We're looking at Giga Berlin, and we're going to be looking at the Model Y as well, which is the vehicle that Musk is going to be starting with. I think someone just said that in the comments just as I was saying that. So yeah, the Model Y will be the first car, then the Model 3 I would assume will be coming off as well. I wouldn't put it past Tesla if it works on a separate version of the Tesla Semi for Europe, because the big Tesla Semi as it's being marketed in America just wouldn't work in Europe, and it is one of the reasons why Nikola Motors has two different versions of its fuel cell trucks. So it's got the Nikola 1, the Nikola 2 for for the US, and then in Europe they've got the Nikola Tre, which is obviously a smaller vehicle. It has the same drivetrain, but it has a slightly different cab arrangement. It's a cab over, which are much more popular in Europe because cab overs are a little bit more maneuverable around small European city streets, so that really improves and helps the handling. And I would be interested to know if Elon's going to be doing something similar at Gigafactory 4, Giga Berlin I think is what they're going to call it, isn't it? But it's going to be really interesting to see how that moves forwards. Now we already know that Europe is really working very heavily on working on its own battery construction, and battery construction, battery cell construction, battery factories, and it would be interesting to know if Tesla's going to be working alongside some of these consortiums to buy cells directly, whether it's going to be striking out and building its own cells on its own. We already know Tesla is working on building its own cells. The Gigafactory 1 in Reno, Nevada is not going to be able to churn out enough battery cells to sustain Tesla's global production fleet, and so we are going to have to see more battery facilities coming up. I don't know enough about the Giga Berlin announcement. I assume there's going to be some battery manufacturing on site and maybe buying in some as well. It's the only way I think it is economically going to work. It's going to be great to see the Y in Europe, but again, the other thing I think would be really lovely in Europe, and I don't know if it's ever going to happen, would be a wagon. I would love to see a Tesla wagon come into production. Obviously we have the Tesla Model S wagon as converted. There's two different companies in Europe doing conversions. There's the guys in Norfolk, Quest, who are doing the Tesla there, and then there's some guys I think in the Netherlands who are also doing conversions of the Model S into a station wagon. But I'd love to see a station wagon Model S. I think that would be a great car. But we know that the Model S is not Tesla's primary goal, it's not Tesla's primary focus, and there we go from there. Why do Europeans love wagons so much? Because they're so versatile. They're not as massive as an SUV. We have smaller roads in Europe. They're more car-like to drive, but they can put their dogs in, and we do like dogs in Europe. We're quite a nation of a continent of dog lovers. I consider myself European, even though I am British and American. I also consider myself a European because I grew up in the 70s, 80s and 90s, and therefore, you know, when everybody was part of Europe, and this Brexit nonsense is stupid. So that is pretty much all I'm going to say on the subject here. Somebody had another question. I'm going to go back and just check this out really quickly. Someone said, have you considered selling transport evolved calendars? Are you talking calendars of cars? I mean, what would you want on the calendar? That raises eyebrows and questions, because I'm not doing a nude calendar. I'm 40, because you know you don't want to see things sagging that start to sag when you're 40. Pop or soda? Neither. Fizzy drinks. And to be honest, I drink a lot of water. I actually like water. I live up a mountain, or I live in the foothills of the Cascade. Sorry, I live in the foothills of the coastal range in Oregon. We're not in the coastal range proper, but we're in the foothills. So we're at about 800 feet, which is 250 meters. And we have our own spring. We have our own well water. It's really, really good quality, far better than anything you get from the tap, and I just love water. And I always get bummed out when I fly because I end up having to have tap water from weird places, whereas when I'm at home in the studio and at the house, I get to have nice, fresh tap water straight from the well. It's always cold, no matter what time of year it is. It's always really good. I'm going to check on the time here, guys, because I have to be out the door in about an hour, and I want to do a little bit of editing of tomorrow's video for you on this channel. Yes, we do pre-record videos, because when it's me most of the time in front of the camera, we have to pre-record. And when we do the LA Auto Show, I am going to be putting Kate Walton Elliott, pure Kate, in front of the camera a little bit more. We're also going to be getting the wonderful Erin in front of the camera as well. They are both going to be doing a piece to camera at the show. What's in Oregon anyway? I'm from BC, and I'm only there for tax-free shopping. Oregon is just a really beautiful state. It's got loads of trees, and it's very pretty. Lots of trees, it's very pretty, and of course we have Portland, which is a wonderful city and known around the world for being hipster paradise. Not so much now. Obviously Portland is weird, but we stole it from Austin. Anyway, good night, good morning wherever you are in the world. Do check out on our main channel the video that we did about all of the other stuff I'm doing. Sup car mum, I hope you are doing well. Mira, Who is this? What's up, Car Mum? I'm now going to work out who that is. Car Mum. I like that. Maybe that should be my name now, Car Mum. Because I am a mum. I have 2 teenagers. One is 17 and one is 16. And I am that age. But does that make me a MILF? I don't know. I don't want to know. Let's leave it at that. And we'll see you all soon. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Support us through Patreon live streams. How do you know it's live? Penis. That's a joke from The Simpsons. I'm feeling really, really jokey these days. I don't know why. Support us through Patreon. Buy one of our t-shirts like this one. I'm wearing the 1.21 gigawatts t-shirt with the DeLorean and the Tesla Powerwalls. We're going to be working on a top secret version of that very soon, but we've got some other t-shirts in the store as well. I know that the t-shirt store link is broken. We're going to figure that out. We're going to fix it. Keep evolving.